Hello everyone. Today we're diving into something that might just make your spine tingle and your garage finally breathe again. Decluttering. But not the Pinterest pretty, scented candle, coffee in hand version. No. Today is about ruthless, efficient, almost military-grade elimination. The kind of cleanse that makes your kids gasp. Wow. Mom really went full Spartan mode. You know what I'm talking about. That moment you stand in your living room, look around at the towers of papers, the dusty corner cabinet filled with VHS tapes of shows you can now watch on Netflix, and say to yourself, if this house ever floods, I'll drown in knickknacks before water even touches my knees. And if you're anything like the seniors I know, strong-willed, sharp, and done with nonsense, you don't declutter slowly. You do it like you're on a mission from the universe. You've got 48 hours, and baby, if this couch could talk, it'd beg for mercy. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And hey, drop a comment below telling me where you're listening from and what time it is there. Let's make this a cozy little global support group for people finally letting go. Now calm down, turn on the fan for some soothing noise, and let's begin today's journey of listening and healing together. You blink, it's morning. Sunlight's coming in through the same window that used to shine on your kids, building Lego castles. But today, it's not about castles. It's about clearing the battlefield. You open the hallway closet. You swear this thing has a wormhole inside, because no human being alive should own this many mismatched towels. You start pulling them out like clowns from a circus car. 1, 2, 15. There's an old smell of detergent, dust, and faint regret. That's when the timer starts ticking in your mind. Not a real timer, but the kind where you suddenly realize you're not 42 anymore, and these knees, they don't negotiate. So you think, I've got 2 days. If I died on Monday, who'd want to sort this? It's not morbid, it's practical. The same way astronauts check oxygen levels, you're just checking your emotional load-bearing limit. Experts still argue about whether clutter directly causes anxiety or just mirrors it, but studies have shown that the average American home holds over 300,000 items. That's right, you're not disorganized. You're curating a museum of personal hesitation. And so, with the first box in hand, you whisper to yourself, it's me or the junk. That's when your ruthless side wakes up. Your hands know what to do. They've held babies, built furniture, wiped tears, and now they're warriors. You grab an old pair of jeans with a hole in the crotch the size of Nevada. Why was this here? Was it sentimental denim? Battle-worn? Nope. Just hiding from judgment. And in that moment, you understand what most people miss. This isn't about cleaning. This is about claiming power. Your back cracks as you bend to pull out a box labeled Taxes 1999. The dust forms a cloud like ancient spirits being released. If there were a horror movie about receipts, this would be it. You smile, half proud, half disgusted. You found a photo. Oh no, dangerous territory. It's you, 1983, hair teased to the sky, wearing shoulder pads that could double as armor. You pause. That twinge in your chest. That's nostalgia mixed with ego. But here's the trick. You don't get stuck. You don't sit down and cry, or fall into a 3-hour Facebook rabbit hole, looking up your old high school crush. You breathe, maybe laugh, and say, "Into the memory box you go, sweetheart," because you've set a boundary. 48 hours, not forever. Now here's something funny most people don't know. Your brain actually lights up when you get rid of stuff. Like physically lights up. Dopamine surges. That same feeling you get when you finish a really good book or find an old 20 in a winter coat. Decluttering is a biochemical high. Who knew throwing out expired salad dressing could rival falling in love? And yet not everyone can do it. Some freeze. They pick up one item and suddenly they're stuck in 1994, reliving prom night or that one time Uncle George fell in the punch bowl. But not you. You've trained for this. You've got playlists queued, snacks prepped, and a trash bag named Destiny. There's a certain kind of silence that comes when you start moving energy around in a home. You feel it. The walls breathe. You can almost hear the floor whisper, "Thank you. It's been 10 years since I've seen daylight." A weird fact. Humans are the only species on Earth that form emotional bonds with inanimate objects. Your cat doesn't care if you throw out its favorite sock. You'd probably write a poem about it. Still, the experts debate whether we hoard to avoid grief or because we're secretly terrified of forgetting, and maybe both are true. But you're not erasing your life. You're editing it. By noon, you filled 4 bags. One labeled donate, one labeled trash, one labeled ask granddaughter if she wants this, and one just says, "What even is this?" Your hips ache, your mouth's dry, but your eyes are alive. You've declared war, and in this house, you are the commander, the judge, and the executioner. And in the next section, we're getting cruel. We're bringing in the 6-month rule. So keep that fan blowing and those water bottles cold, because you're just getting started. You're standing in the kitchen now, staring down a rice cooker from 2007. It's got a missing lid and a weird smell you can't quite place. Burnt sesame? Regret? Doesn't matter, because this is where the 6-month rule walks in like a cowboy in an old western. Silent, judgmental, and ready to duel. Here's how it goes. If you haven't used it in 6 months, it's out. No appeals, no nostalgia, no maybe I will one days. 6 months. That's 2 seasons. That's long enough for a reality TV marriage to fail. You pick up an avocado slicer that was supposed to change your life. It didn't. You've been slicing avocados with a knife for 40 years. No. You drop it in the donation box with a thud, so satisfying it could be ASMR. There's a scientific principle called the endowment effect. It means we assign more value to things simply because we own them. That half-dead toaster. It's not just any toaster. It's your toaster. The one that used to burn Mickey Mouse faces into your grandson's Pop-Tarts. So you keep it, even though now it smells like melting plastic and sadness. But here's the twist. You're wiser now. You can feel when something no longer serves you. You're not trying to be a minimalist Instagram guru. You're trying to breathe in your own home without tripping over gadgets from 3 lifetimes ago. You hold up a faded shirt, the one from that beach trip in '95. There's a small mustard stain near the collar, and you chuckle, because mustard's a recurring character in your life. always showing up uninvited. You whisper, 6 months, like it's a sacred chant. Has it touched your body in 6 months? Nope. Into the donate pile it goes, like a condemned prisoner walking the green mile. Now something odd happens. You start moving faster. It's like your hands know the drill. They're scanning for evidence. Have I used this? Have I touched it? Do I even like it? And just like that, your junk drawer loses half its occupants. You reach into the back of the fridge. There it is, the ghost of Christmas past. A jar of pickles with a 2022 expiration date and a top so rusty, it looks like it's been underwater. 6 months. Try 16. The trash welcomes it with a plop. Experts still argue about how long it actually takes to form a habit. Is it 21 days? 66. But you're not here to build habits. You're here to win battles. And the 6-month rule, it's your secret weapon. Brutal, fast, no drama. You think back to all the things you once kept, just in case. Just in case. You suddenly decide to take up rollerblading again. Just in case the karaoke machine comes in handy at a funeral. Just in case. The zombie apocalypse prefers fondue. Let's be honest, just in case is how clutter breeds. It's the gateway. Excuse. But you've matured past that point. Now you're asking better questions. Would I buy this again today? Would I pack this in a move? Does this bring me peace? And you're starting to realize peace is heavy. It has weight. Sometimes it looks like an empty shelf. Sometimes it sounds like a drawer closing without resistance. You take a break and sit down. The couch sighs under you, like it hasn't seen you in days. You glance across the room and see 3 empty surfaces. You forgot how clean wood reflects sunlight. It's like your home is slowly blinking awake. Here's a strange fact. Americans spend more than 2.5 days a year looking for lost items. Keys, remotes, that one sock. You realize that your clutter hasn't just taken up space. It's taken time, and now you're taking it back. You lean forward, fingers steepled, like a monk who just discovered enlightenment through garbage bags. You're not hoarding. You're healing. You're not letting go of stuff. You're letting go of versions of yourself you no longer need to carry. And you know what? That little box labeled craft supplies. It hasn't moved since Obama's first term. You give it the stare. You lift it slowly. Open the lid, ribbon, glitter, half a glue stick that died of thirst in 2014. You close it and whisper, "It's not you, it's me," into the donate pile. And as you stand, you stretch your back and feel a strange satisfaction. Not from what you threw away, but from what you kept. Because now everything that stays matters. 6-month rule. It's ruthless. It's elegant. And you're mastering it. In the next section, you're about to go even deeper. It's not just about objects now. It's about memories. And the lie we tell ourselves, that our past only lives in things. You're going to learn the truth. And honey, it's gonna set your clutter on fire. Now you're holding a photo album. So old the corners are curled like dried leaves. The pages smell like time. Not musty, not rotten, just old. Memory old. And this is where the emotional object bypass kicks in. Because here's the thing. You can't declutter unless you stop. worshipping every object like it's the Ark of the Covenant. Sure, that Christmas card from 1986 was cute, but it's not love. It's ink on cardstock. This trick is sneaky. It doesn't ask you to throw memories away. It asks you to move them where they belong, in your heart, not your hallway. You flip through a scrapbook filled with birthday hats, vacation receipts, and your daughter's preschool drawing of a creature that might be a unicorn or a kitchen appliance. You smile, but you don't cry, because here's the truth. You remember the feeling, not the paper. Scientists say that your brain doesn't store memories like a video camera. It reconstructs them each time. That means your memory is more like a quilt, stitched together with mood, scent, weather, the texture of your favorite sweater that day. The thing isn't the memory. It just prompts it. So you try something bold. You take a picture of the scrapbook page with your phone. You whisper, "Thank you," under your breath, like you're Marie Kondo's slightly snarky cousin. Then, yes, you toss the page. Here's where it gets interesting. You don't feel guilty. You feel light because your memories, they're yours. You earned them, not the stuff. That travel mug from Niagara Falls. It's chipped, stained, and frankly smells like beef jerky, no matter what you put in it. But you remember that trip. Your partner laughing when the wind almost took your umbrella. You don't need a moldy mug to keep that moment alive. Still, your hand trembles when you get to the shoebox of letters. Handwritten, faded ink, a few tear stains from another version of you. This is the hard part, right? But the bypass isn't heartless. It's surgical. You make a rule. 1 letter per relationship. The rest, take a photo, whisper thanks, then release them like little paper ships. Psychologists have a name for this. Symbolic release. When you let go of an item while keeping the meaning, your mind adjusts. You're not erasing history. You're making room for the now. And here's a weird fact you'd never guess. Archivists recommend digitizing emotional items because paper can carry mold spores, emotional weight, and silverfish. Yes, you've been emotionally hoarding bugs. That's motivation enough. Now you're on fire. You find a box of your late husband's neckties. Some still smell like him, and your chest tightens. So you choose one, just one. You wrap it around your wrist, just for a moment. Then you refold it carefully and place it in your drawer. A reminder, not a shrine. The rest, you take a breath. You remember how he hated clutter. You let them go, and suddenly the room feels bigger. Not just physically, emotionally. You're not in a museum of grief anymore. You're in a living space, a breathing space. Experts still debate, you whisper to yourself, on whether humans grieve more deeply through objects or through rituals. But you've decided, this decluttering, this is your ritual. This is your church of letting go. You make tea. You sit on a now empty bench. You prop your feet on a storage ottoman that used to hide 3 generations of guilt. And now it holds nothing, and it's glorious. Some people need 12-step programs, or therapists, or Buddhist monks to declutter their emotional past. You just needed a trash bag, a camera app, and a cup of chamomile. You've bypassed the trap that gets most people stuck for years. You learned that emotions aren't things. They're moments. You can hold them without holding on to them. And as the light filters through your kitchen window, illuminating that one necktie, you realize something profound. The past is honored, not by keeping everything, but by keeping what still gives you peace. And now, you're ready to tackle the next layer, the one that pretends to be useful. That's right, the graveyard of someday items. Oh baby, it's time to go to the garage. Your hands on the doorknob. You hesitate, not because you're afraid of the dark, but because you know what lurks behind it. The land of someday. You swing the garage door open and the first thing you feel, not fear, not nostalgia, just heat. Garages are always a few degrees warmer than the rest of the house, like they're storing your guilt in Fahrenheit. Cardboard boxes sag like tired shoulders. A plastic Santa stares at you from June. There's a yoga mat with more dust than enlightenment, and a bread maker you used once. In 2003, welcome to the someday graveyard trick. You know how it works. Every senior who's ever decluttered, in under 48 hours knows. If you haven't used it in the last year, it's not your future. It's your fantasy. And fantasies take up shelf space. You pick up an electric sander, still in the box. You bought it when you thought you might build birdhouses after retirement. But guess what? You didn't retire into woodworking. You retired into reruns, coffee, and long walks. And that's enough. Psychologists call this anticipated identity clutter. That's when people buy things to match the person they hope they'll become, not the person they are. It's like your stuff has an identity crisis on your behalf. You're not the problem. The lie is. So you begin. The rule. Brutal honesty. If someday hasn't arrived in 12 months, it's not coming. That Pilates machine. That healthy you cookbook with recipes that require 17 spices and a spiralizer. That set of fondue forks still taped shut. Donate it all. Let someone else's fantasy have a turn. Here's the science part. The endowment effect tricks your brain into overvaluing what you own. It's why you think your broken lawnmower has soul. But studies show, when you pretend you're shopping in your own garage, you make smarter choices. So go ahead, look around and ask, would I buy this again today? No? Then bye-bye. Oh, and here's a fun fact that'll haunt you a little. Self-storage is a $44 billion industry in America. That means people are literally paying to keep lies in climate-controlled boxes. You're smarter than that, so you move fast now. There's no time for maybes. You create 3 zones. Use it now. Donate immediately. Call your son and ask if he wants this dumb weight set before you hurl it into the sun. And sure, you'll hesitate once or twice, like with the sewing machine you inherited. But then you remember, you don't sew, and you definitely don't want your grandchildren to inherit your guilt about not sewing. So you say the magic phrase, this is a good thing for someone else. That's the spell, the wand wave, the permission slip. And yes, experts still debate whether future self-attachment is a sign of optimism or procrastination. But you've decided it's neither. It's a closet with bad lighting. You find a vintage treadmill that folds like a medieval torture device. You climb on, hit a button, and it coughs once, then dies. Perfect. You put a sticky note on it. Free. Not dead, just tired. Like me, by hour 6, The garage looks real, like a space for your car again. Imagine that. A garage with a car in it. Revolutionary. You sit on a stool that used to be buried beneath an emergency stash of IKEA parts. You sip your lukewarm tea. You feel unreasonably proud. Because here's the secret. You didn't just declutter stuff. You decluttered versions of yourself you no longer owe anything to. The imagined gourmet chef, the DIY carpenter, the exercise warrior. They were real hopes, but they don't have to be your homework forever. Now, you're left with only the tools you actually use, the things that help you live, not just imagine, and somewhere between the extension cord you still need and the birdhouse kit you never opened, you reclaim your space as a place of presence, not pressure. And then, like clockwork, you remember, oh no, the linen closet. But don't panic. That's where the next trick comes in. And it's even crueler than this one. It's the one-touch folding rule. And baby, it doesn't care how many guest towels you think you need. You open the linen closet, and it's like a soft avalanche greets you. Towels, blankets, sheets, folded like lasagna noodles, pillowcases from 3 houses ago. It smells like lavender and thyme. Somewhere in there is a heating pad that hasn't heated since Obama's first term. This is where the one-touch folding rule begins. And don't let the cozy name fool you. This trick is savage. Here's the rule. If you touch it, you fold it. If you fold it, it earns its right to stay. If you don't want to fold it, out it goes. Simple, ruthless, elegant, like a Marie Kondo ninja. You touch a flannel sheet set. It's soft, worn, comforting. And it has a hole the size of Nebraska. In the middle, you start folding it, but your hands stop. The hole stares back. You whisper, nope, and into the donate pile it goes. Well, actually, the rag pile, because no one deserves to inherit your holy linens. Here's the psychology behind it. When you engage your body in a small, intentional act, like folding, your brain reevaluates the object in real time. It's called embodied decision-making. So you're not just touching stuff, you're processing ownership. It's therapy with fabric. You pick up a pink towel from your daughter's childhood, faded, has some life left. You fold it once, twice. You think, will she want this when I'm gone? Nope. She's got a Pinterest house now with matching beige everything. So you say a quiet goodbye and move on. Want a weird fact? In the 1800s, people stored linens in cedar chests, not just for the scent, but because cedar oil repelled moths, mold, and sadness. Okay, mostly moths. But sadness too. If you think hard enough, you pause at the stack of mismatched pillowcases. Why do you have 7 of them when you only own 3 pillows? You realize you've been running a halfway house for orphaned linens. No more. You keep 4 towels, 2 sets of sheets, and 1 backup comforter. That's it. Because, as the minimalist seniors like to say, if the apocalypse comes, I won't survive it with extra pillowcases. You chuckle. You sneeze from the dust. You reach into the far back of the closet and find something so ancient, it feels ceremonial. A crocheted blanket your aunt made before Facebook existed. You fold it slowly, and you know, this one stays. Not because of guilt, but because it matters. And that's the nuance people forget. Decluttering isn't about coldness. It's about clarity. Some things stay because they still serve. Others stay because they still soothe. Everything else, it's just taking up psychic rent. Experts still argue about the ideal linen count for a household of 1 or 2, but you've decided peace weighs less than excess. You clear a shelf, just one shelf. It looks like a boutique hotel now. Neat, folded, real. You feel wealthy, rich in space, rich in relief. Then, something unexpected. You find a towel from your late partner's hospital stay. It still has the little sticker on it. For a moment, your breath catches. But here's where you use the trick's second rule. No memorials in the closet. You're allowed to grieve, but not in the linen aisle of your home. So you do something wild. You cut a small square from that towel, just a palm-sized piece. You place it in your memory box, and you toss the rest. Symbolic preservation, functional freedom. That's how seniors clear entire homes in 48 hours. Not by rushing, but by deciding the closet now echoes. Not literally, but you feel it. The absence of guilt, the space for air. It's sacred. You lean back against the wall and think, why didn't I do this sooner? You know why. Because you thought it was about towels. But it was about permission. Permission to let go. To live without backups for your backups. To stop preparing for guests who never come. And as the sun starts to dip, casting soft golden lines across your empty shelf, you hear it. Not your heartbeat. Not the fan, just silence. Which, in a clean linen closet, is the loudest joy of all. And now it's time for the bathroom cabinet. Yes, the place where expired dreams live in bottles, with childproof caps. Let's get into the expiration date purge. The bathroom cabinet creaks open like it's got secrets. And oh, it does. Sticky secrets, leaky secrets, expired promises in plastic tubes. You squint into the dim space and swear you just saw a cough syrup bottle. From Y2K, blink at you. Welcome to the expiration date purge. This one, not for the faint of heart or the weak of stomach. First, you grab a trash bag. Not the dainty kind you use for bathroom bins. You need the heavy-duty black bags. The kind that can hold regret. Because, honey, it's time. You pick up a bottle of vitamin D. Expired. 2019. You laugh. You're still here, aren't you? Guess the sun did more for you than those pills ever did. Now this trick isn't just about throwing out old toothpaste. It's a full sensory confrontation with time, health, and hope. Experts call it temporal detachment. That moment when you look at an item and realize it belonged to a version of you that no longer exists. You find a tube of anti-aging cream, promising miracles. In 14 days, you used it for 2. You remember thinking, I'll start again tomorrow. Tomorrow came and went, wrinkles stayed, and somehow, so did this tube. It goes in the bag, and then there's that bottle of prescription painkillers from your knee surgery. You know, the one that almost made you feel like a rock star. But you didn't finish it. And thank God you didn't. You're not a what-if story on a cautionary poster. Here's the scientific tidbit. Over 50% of seniors keep expired medication just in case. But studies show expired meds not only lose potency, they can become toxic. not metaphorically, literally. So you line them up. Cold medicine, 3 kinds of Tums. That weird herbal tincture your neighbor swore cured her migraines and her marriage. Gone, all of it, and here's where the fun begins. You find something you don't recognize. No label. Smells like regret. You squint, sniff, wonder if it's shampoo or engine oil. You do the only reasonable thing. You drop it in the bag and say, "Not today, Satan. Here's a gross fact you didn't want, but now have." The average American bathroom cabinet contains over 30 items, never used more than once. That's 30 flirtations with health, beauty, and illusion. Each one shouting, "Maybe this will fix you." But you're not broken, you're just a little cluttered. You reach the bottom shelf. The travel size apocalypse kit. Mini lotions, mini toothpaste, a shampoo from a 2006 cruise. You haven't traveled in years. And when you do, you steal the hotel stuff again anyway. Let it go. Now, the old nail polish. The one called Coral Mist that never looked good on you. But you bought it because someone on TV wore it while breaking up with a man and looking fabulous. You paint one nail for nostalgia. Still ugly. You smile and toss it. Experts still debate whether our attachment to bathroom items is based more on fear of waste or fear of change. You think it's both. But neither fear gets to live in your cabinet anymore. You clean the shelves with warm water and vinegar. It smells like old school housekeeping, like your mother's Saturday mornings. You pause, smile, wipe one last time. You return only what you love, what you use, what won't poison you. And guess what? There's room now. Room to breathe. Room to find a Band-Aid without digging past a box of expired mascara and ancient Epsom salt. You lean into the mirror. Your face looks the same, but something behind your eyes. Lighter. Because today, you chose yourself over your clutter. You chose health over hoarding. Presents over potion. You close the cabinet. It doesn't bulge anymore. It just closes. You whisper to your reflection, "You're doing great, baby. And now, brace yourself, because next up is a drawer even worse. The emotional junk drawer of the soul. The kitchen catch-all. Oh yeah, it's time to face the cords, the coupons, and that melted birthday candle shaped like a dinosaur. You open the drawer, that drawer, the one every kitchen has, nestled between the scissors and your last shred of sanity. It groans. You groan. Because this isn't just a drawer. It's a shrine to indecision. There's a rubber band with the strength of a cooked noodle. A key that unlocks absolutely nothing. Batteries of unknown vintage. A takeout menu from a Chinese place that closed during the Bush administration. And somehow, a yo-yo. Welcome to the kitchen catch-all, the Bermuda Triangle of your home. This is where the dump and sort blitz comes in. It's not for the faint of heart. It's for the bold, the fed up, and the chronically annoyed. You dump the whole thing out onto the kitchen table. Don't sort in the drawer. That's like painting your nails while skydiving. Ill-advised, and mostly for show. Out in the open, your clutter has nowhere to hide. Here's what happens next. You create 3 zones, not 5, not 6, 3. Keep in useful, scissors, tape, working flashlight, Sharpie. These get to stay. But only one of each. You're not starting an office supply resale business. Mystery and mayhem. That's where you place things, like the unidentified metal bracket, the phone charger for a model you haven't owned since flip phones, the single Lego piece, red, always red. This pile gets 24 hours. If you don't remember what it is by then, it's out 3. Nostalgia trap. Ah, yes, the birthday candle shaped like a dinosaur. You keep thinking, but what if the grandkids want it? Listen, if they ever ask for a Stegosaurus candle, Amazon's got your back in under 12 hours. So you say goodbye, you whisper, you did your duty, and into the donation box it goes. Here's your scientific fact of the day. The human brain can only efficiently organize about 150 objects in one spatial category before it starts to panic. And that drawer, it's been holding 350. No wonder. It made you anxious every time you opened it. That drawer didn't store things. It stored decisions you didn't want to make. And now you are. You untangle a wad of cords that looks like it survived a hurricane and a toddler. You hold one up and think, is this for a camera I lost in 2011? Yes. Yes, it is. Buy. You pull out a packet of soy sauce that's hardened into a new element. Tossed. You keep a pen that works and test it on the back of a receipt. You write, I'm still here. It feels dramatic. You smile anyway. Did you know? In Japan, there's a tradition called usuji, or big cleaning, where people cleanse their homes before the new year. Not for hygiene, but for the soul. You're doing that right now, in June, because why not? Experts argue whether junk drawers should exist at all. Some say yes, for practicality. Others say no. It's a clutter gateway drug. You've decided it can exist, but only as a tool, not a trap. When you're done, the drawer closes with a whisper instead of a shove. There are 5 things in it. 5. A pen, a roll of tape, a tiny flashlight, a pair of scissors, and one crisp note that reads, you cleaned this. Be proud. Don't ruin it. That's your reminder. Your line in the sand. You sit down, sipping lukewarm coffee, and look at your hands. They've sorted through the tiny chaos that mirrored the bigger chaos. And now, still, no more reaching into a drawer and pulling out an emotional booby trap. No more pretending every object might be needed someday. Because here's the truth. Someday never borrows from the junk drawer. You breathe. You feel the weight lifting, small but sharp. The kind you didn't even know was there until it wasn't. And now, since you're on a roll, it's time for something bolder, something heavier, something lurking in the corners of your closet for years. Clothes that don't love you back. Yes, darling, it's time to face the fashion ghosts. You stand in front of the closet, like it just said something rude about your mother. You cross your arms. It crosses its doors. It's a standoff. This isn't just about fabric. This is emotional archaeology. You pull the doors open and instantly get hit with a wave of polyester guilt, denim denial, and cotton dreams that never fit. Welcome to the fashion goodbye. You reach in and pull out that dress. You know the one. Satin, crimson. Worn exactly once to a retirement party where someone mistook you for the caterer and you pretended you didn't hear them. You haven't worn it since 2003. You hold it up and think, what if I go dancing again? But baby, if you go dancing, you deserve something that doesn't pinch your ribcage like a Victorian corset. Here's a truth most people won't tell you. If a piece of clothing makes you feel like a failure every time you see it, it's not fashion, it's punishment. Toss it. Now comes the weird part. You find a pair of jeans labeled aspirational. You haven't buttoned them since the Obama presidency. And every time you try, you blame the dryer. But it's not the dryer. It's life. It moved on. So should you. Scientists call this closet cognitive dissonance. The discomfort of owning things that don't match who you are anymore. Your body changed. Your lifestyle shifted. Your clothes, they didn't get the memo. And here's a wild fact. The average American wears only 20% of the clothes they own. The other 80%? Hope, guilt, memory. You find the sweater you wore after your mom's funeral. Soft, pilled, still smells faintly of lavender and grief. You press it to your face. It stays, because not everything has to go. Some things have weight, and not all of it is bad. But the blouse that makes you tug at the neckline, gone. The shoes you swore you'd break in but only broke your spirit, bye-bye. You create 3 piles. Love and wear. These are the clothes that feel like a warm hug. They don't judge you. They belong. Past life wardrobe. These are for careers you've retired from, lives you've outgrown, blazers from your office days, the nurse scrubs, the stiff shoes. They served you. Now someone else can use them. Fantasy closet sequin tops for New Year's Eves you never attended. That silk robe you thought you'd wear while sipping espresso in Paris. You've been to Paris. You wore sneakers and a windbreaker. That's real life. And it was beautiful. Experts debate whether we keep clothes out of vanity or nostalgia, but you know it's more complicated. Clothes hold stories. They whisper, remember when, even when you'd rather not, you grab a shirt that still has the tag on, bought during a sale frenzy, never worn. You hold it up and say, someone else gets to love you now, into the donation pile, and don't forget the hanger purge. Bent, plastic, wire hangers from dry cleaners, and decades past. Out, you replace them with matching ones. Simple, soft, kind to your clothes. You're not trying to be a minimalist. You're trying to be honest. There's a difference. You sit on the edge of the bed and look at what's left. Neutrals you actually wear. A few bright colors that make you feel alive. Comfy shoes, not the kind that chew your feet. And that one cardigan that makes every bad day feel like a hug. You smile because this space, it's real. It's you now, not you 10 years ago. Not you once you lose 5 pounds. Just you. You close the closet door. It doesn't bulge. It doesn't groan. It exhales, like it's grateful too. And now, you walk past the mirror. You pause. You look. You don't wince. You nod. Because you're not dressing for a fantasy. You're dressing for the life you actually live. And next, it's time to face the big stuff. The stuff nobody wants to talk about. The stuff that doesn't fit in a drawer or hang on a rack. We're going to the garage. Yes, the I might need it someday kingdom. Buckle up, friend. It's about to get dusty. and oddly profound. You step into the garage like you're entering the Bermuda Triangle of your past decisions. It smells like old rubber, nostalgia, and that one mouse that died in the corner 3 winters ago. You don't talk about him. You just nod respectfully in his direction. This is the domain of letters that haven't seen action since Clinton was in office, and boxes labeled Christmas with a question mark that suggests even past you wasn't convinced. Welcome to the someday pile. There's a tool bench covered in cobwebs and ambition. You find a jar of screws, just screws, no lids, no context, just 900 screws, like you're planning to open a hardware museum. You laugh, because one of them still has the label, Screw, Purpose Unknown. Here's a fun scientific tidbit. Researchers have found that the average garage in the US is so packed, 1 in 4 homeowners can't park a car in it. You glance at your garage. Yeah, that tracks. But here's the real kicker. People keep things in garages, not because they need them, but because they can't admit they won't. You open a bin and find the camping gear from when you thought retirement was going to be all mountain air and open fires. You went camping once. You cried when the raccoon stole your trail mix. You also cried because you realized you don't like sleeping on the ground. You like memory foam and HBO. So why are you keeping the camp stove, the dehydrated beef chili, and the tent that smells like fear? Because it represents a version of yourself you wanted to be. And that's the sticky truth. Letting go of stuff means grieving who you thought you'd become. That's why it's so hard. You look around and realize the garage is a museum of unlived lives, ski poles, gardening gloves with 0 dirt on them, an entire box labeled winemaking kit that you got for your birthday and never opened. And here's the weird psychological fact. The endowment effect makes you value an item more just because you own it, even if it's useless, even if you haven't touched it since Bush-era politics. Your brain whispers, but what if we need it someday? And someday never comes. Just like that movie projector you swore you'd fix. Or that folding table with one wobbly leg that no guest has ever dared eat on. So you start small, 1 box. You pull out cords to devices that no longer exist. You say goodbye to the VHS tapes of a wedding you got divorced out of. You toss the broken fan, finally admitting that "I'll fix it" was a lie you told to feel hopeful. Experts argue over whether clutter is about control or fear. But you know it's both. You take out a trash bag and fill it. Then another. Your hands get dirty. Your shoulders ache. But your mind, it starts to breathe. You find the baby crib from 40 years ago. You run your hand over the rail. You remember the night he had the flu and you stayed up humming old lullabies. You remember the way his tiny hands used to grab the bars like he was in baby jail. You don't throw that away. You cry a little. Then you take a photo of it and you donate it. Because some new baby deserves a crib full of love, not dust. You find your dad's old toolbox. Still smells like oil and Old Spice. You keep that one. Because it's not just a box. It's a lineage. The rest? The treadmill with clothes draped on it like it's your side hustle dry cleaner. Gone. The bins of tangled Christmas lights. You keep one. You're not a monster. You start to see the floor, and it shocks you. It's like discovering Atlantis. You clear a shelf, wipe it down, and place just one, photo of your family, camping in Yosemite. The one time you didn't cry. The sunset in the background looks painted. It's enough. You step back and exhale. This place isn't perfect, but now it reflects reality, not fantasy. Because the garage was never about tools or gear or storage. It was about potential, and now that potential is yours again, to use, not just store. You flick off the light, and in the soft dark, you feel a strange calm, like the air itself just sighed with you. Next up, the emotional fortress, the one place that holds not just memories, but legacies. We're going to the filing cabinet, and no, you can't skip this part, not unless you want your grandkids to one day find 6 tax returns from 1987 and a love letter to someone named Margot you swear you've never met. Let's open the drawers together. You sit in front of the filing cabinet like it's a sacred tomb, and in some ways, it is. 4 drawers tall, cold metal, that familiar clack when you pull the handle. It echoes like a ghost whispering, "You're not ready for this," but you are. Your fingers hesitate on the top drawer. Because you know what? Lives in here. The paperwork of your entire life. The mortgage you paid off. The medical records with that one scare you never told anyone about. And the letters. Oh, the letters. Here, you open it anyway. A puff of old air hits your face. Paper, ink, and, is that peppermint? You find a folder labeled Insurance, Active, with a question mark. Again with the question marks. Like, past you was constantly second-guessing future you. You rifle through old policies. One expired in 1996. Another is for a car you donated to charity when your back gave out and you couldn't bend into the driver's seat anymore. You laugh, because this drawer, it's not about what you need. It's about what you once thought you needed to feel safe. And here's something bizarre from behavioral economics. People are more likely to keep physical papers than digital ones because touch triggers emotional permanence. You hold it, you feel it, you believe it's important, even when it's not. You find a copy of your will from 2004, typed in Courier font. You update it mentally. Half the people listed are dead or estranged. You make a note to revisit that. Then come the greeting cards. Stacks of them. Birthday wishes in pen from people you barely remember. A Valentine's Day card from your husband. Signed with a joke you both understood once. But now you just don't. You pause. And here's the emotional part no one talks about. Paper is the last place your younger self lives. That's why it hurts to throw it away. You're not just shredding receipts. You're confronting who you were and who you're not anymore. You find a folder labeled Poetry, and your heart clenches. You'd forgotten you ever wrote poems. There's one about the ocean, one about your sister, and one titled, What I Want When I'm Old. You read it. It's raw. It's hopeful. It's you. And for a moment, your throat tightens. Because you realize you are old now. You got here. And somehow you've done okay. You sit with that. Let it wash over you like warm water. No jokes, no irony, just a full body exhale. Some psychologists argue over whether memory is more accurate in written or spoken form. But right now, you understand, it doesn't matter. What matters is what you choose to carry forward. You keep the poem. You put it in a new folder, labeled clearly, without a question mark. Everything else, the expired insurance policies, the warranty for a coffee maker you left in your last house, the duplicate tax returns, shred, shred. Burn if it feels poetic. You handle the sensitive stuff carefully. You laugh when you find a folder labeled passwords. Do not lose. It's just a sticky note that says, Dog name 123. Well, that dog's been gone since Obama, so change that one. You make piles. Keep, toss, shred, burn, each pile lighter than the last. You finish with the bottom drawer. You find your son's birth certificate. You hold it, thumb grazing the embossed stamp. He's 42 now, and just last month, he taught you how to order groceries on your phone. You keep that one. You close the drawers, and for the first time in maybe a decade, they slide shut all the way. No bulging folders. No threatening to tip over, just quiet. You sit back in your chair. You listen to the wind outside. You think about how your house breathes easier now. So do you. Your stories are no longer buried under dust and delay. They're here, in your heart, where they belong. And you've proven you're still alive, still choosing, still brave enough to let go. No guilt, no fear, no apologies, just space. And now, as promised, the final 300 words. Let's slow down. Now, let the pace soften like a warm evening. You've walked through every room in your house and every decade in your mind. You've opened drawers that hadn't seen light in years. You've thrown out things you once thought defined you, and somehow you're still standing, lighter, clearer, maybe even a little more peaceful. If your heart feels a bit tender right now, that's okay. It should, because cleaning isn't just about tidying your home. It's about clearing space for who you are now, not who you were. It's about shedding layers that no longer fit and honoring the parts of you that still shine through. Even in the quiet, let the silence wrap around you now, like a soft quilt. Let the breeze carry away what you no longer need. You've done more than enough for today, and tomorrow you'll wake up to a home that breathes with you, not against you. Maybe you'll open a window. Maybe you'll just sit. But either way, you'll know this truth. You're not buried in your past anymore. You're present. You're powerful. You're free. And this house, it finally feels like home again.